Hey guys, what's up? Forgive the mess, I'm redecorating a bit down here to go with my new setup and stuff. Oh, and yeah, and that laptop over there, you're gonna be staring at that Windows thing for a long time because that hard drive is fucked. I gotta completely reformat it. Anyway, sorry, let me get on track. There's a conversation that's going on in the last serious vid I did, which was on irrationality and some atheists here on YouTube, and how it was kind of stupid for them to do things like attack Richard Coughlin just for stating, his opinion on things. But that's not what I'm really going to be talking about now. There's an interesting conversation going on underneath that video, as I just said, in the comment section. And while there are some rather interesting points that are being raised there, I ultimately think that one of the people raising his own points has not really thought through what exactly it is he's trying to propose. Because I think if he did, he might not be saying these things for much longer. I'm not going to mention names because I don't want people being attacked, and I do sympathize with his views to a point, but it's not like you guys can't just go and see what's going on. In fact, I encourage it if you guys want to jump in on the conversation yourselves and you got your own views. Anyway, with this conversation, there seems to be 2 points that are being brought up. Well, one more than the other, because one of them looks like it's already been dead and done with. The first point being raised by this guy is that philosophers and philosophy itself is sort of a waste of time because it's just simply a game of words, and real life itself is not being focused on. The focus is more on words and just philosophizing rather than just living life. Started. The second point is that we are not living harmoniously with nature, and that things like technology, in fact technology itself, is one of the biggest problems we have. And it's causing us to do things like pollute the earth and overconsume, and we need to cut down on our use of technology, and we need to live more harmoniously with the planet. Now, the first point I already discussed. I think I said what I needed to say on that, but just to reiterate here, basically saying that philosophy is a waste of time, but at the same time philosophizing about what you think a real way of life is supposed to be is, well, ignorant, to say the least. Any form of ethics, morality, political system, whatever, any form of laws you want to come up with, anytime you're going to be saying, oh, I wonder if this is the right way to live, you're dealing with philosophy. So to say it's useless, come on now. But this is the second point that I really want to talk about, because I am not going to be able to go through all my points with just a stupid 500 character limit, and I'm tired of making post after post after post in the comment section, so I'd rather just spit it out here. Now, again, it's not like I don't sympathize a bit with the viewpoint here about us living more harmoniously with the planet. In fact, I had somewhat similar views when I was younger. However, I think that such thinking, when sticking with the whole common phrase of we need to live with the planet, we need to embrace the planet, we need to live more naturalistically, it's naive. Especially when you start saying that technology is our biggest problem, that we need to cut back on that. For someone to say that, that means they truly don't understand the human beings that they think they got a better way for, or that they think they truly understand, which is why they say that, oh, we need to live more harmoniously, I know the right way to live. Please, the minute you blame technology for the problem, that means you got some more studying to do. This is why. Technology is not just high-end electronics. It's not just cars or planes or submarines or mad scientist creations. It's not fusion engines. It's not nuclear bombs. I mean, it is those things, but it's not just that. Technology is as simple as a freaking pencil. Technology is, when you boil it down to its simplest essence, the construction of tools. Tool making is what human beings do. It's how we were able to build our societies. It's how we're able to live on the planet that we're on. Remember, we have no claws, no sharp teeth, no wings, no hardened skin, no fur, no shells. We're vulnerable creatures. The only thing we really have the only asset we really have is this, And what is this good for? One of the things that this brain is good for? Creating tools. We use tools in order to live on the planet that we're on, because without those, we're dead. Period. Now, I already mentioned this in the comment section, and it was said back to me that, oh, well, I don't really consider those simple things technology. I'm sorry, that's not how this works. You can't just say when something inconvenient comes along to wreck your particular worldview, oh, I'm just not accepting that. That's a meaningless statement. It is what it is. I could walk around saying I don't consider cats felines. So all I'm doing is just basically saying I want to stay in ignorance, which means that less and less people are going to take me seriously. This is technology. Crafting this cup involves technology. Making this telephone, which by the way you consider to be, if it's high-end electronics, somehow this telephone's harming the planet. This is technology. Crafting a pencil so I can save and preserve my ideas, which can be built upon by later generations, which can come up with a better version of what I just made. It's technology. My mini disc unit, which somehow this particular thing, which I'm recording my thoughts and stuff for other people to discuss and later on possibly be able to benefit the rest of the planet. This is technology. It's not hurting the planet. It's what we do. What's hurting the planet is abuse and greed and overconsumption. That's not the fault of technology. That's just the thought of greedy minds. You can't blame the tool or the process of making tools on the ills we have. Let's take one of the biggest examples we have right now. The BP oil spill. Someone who's just looking at this superficially will say, see, that's what technology does to the planet. Basically, what BP was doing was drilling into the earth to get oil. Okay? Drilling in and of itself is not going to harm the planet. You got animals burying through the earth all the time. Sucking oil out, just the process of sucking something out, that's a freaking vacuum. We use vacuum cleaners to clean our homes. Is that harming the planet? The technology itself is not the problem. The problem was that you had a bunch of people who all they were thinking of was get the oil, get the oil, get the oil, mass profits, mass profits. So they kept focusing their technology on how much can we take out, and wasn't really putting too much of a thought process on what happens if this F's up. Because all they were thinking was money, 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 resources, suck it up, suck it up. So then when the shit hit the fan, they didn't know what the fuck to do. And now you got the ecological disaster we're dealing with, but it isn't technology's fault. It's the fault of the idiots who implemented it. There's a difference. One other problem with this particular view about, oh, let's blame technology for this, is not only are you kind of kneecapping the very thing that human beings need to survive on this planet, which, by the way, it's a natural tendency of ourselves. So just the very fact that we're making tools means that we are living harmoniously with what we were, for lack of a better word, designed to do. But let's just say that you want to cut down on the use of technology and live more harmoniously with life. That means there's a whole lot of things that you're taking for granted that need to be gone because, according to this particular worldview, it's harming the planet. For instance, we can't have any more automobiles or planes and stuff anymore because people say that it's overpolluting the planet with, you know, the fumes and stuff that they're giving off. So you need to get rid of that, which means that it's going to take you longer to get anywhere, which also means it's going to take a hell of a lot longer for things such as food from distant farms and resources and tools and materials to keep cities going. It's going to take forever. That might kind of handicap the whole city dwelling aspect, so we might have to go back to living in rural type areas. But even, and some people are like, oh yeah, that's great, that's freaking fantastic, but that also means in these particular areas, things like medicine and, you know, the high-end electronics that you're going to need in order to do surgery and x-rays and things like that, that's also going to be kind of null and void because somehow those things are harming the planet. So now we're living a more rural existence, kind of similar to Quakers. No electricity, no high-end tools or whatever, and we need to build fires in order to keep warm. Wait a second, burning a fire is putting pollutants into the air. And remember, there's tons of humans out here right now. So imagine all of them burning fires. Isn't the problem the whole carbon footprint thing that we're doing? So now we got to cut down on making fires, which, by the way, building a fire, that in itself is a form of technology. Very primitive form of it, but learning how to build a fire and then coming up with a fireplace and all that. Just because you don't see electronics going through it doesn't mean it's not like technology. So now you're getting rid of that. So now we're freezing our freaking asses off. We need to hunt to survive. Wait a minute. Tons of humans on the planet over hunting. That's bad for the planet. So now we need to come up with synthetic fibers so that we don't kill these creatures instead. wait a second, to come up with synthetic fibers is technology. I don't think you thought this through. Another darker aspect, a lot of the problems that we're having is, well, it's a question of population. The consumption that's going on the planet and the constant need for energy on this planet is because there's so many people on it. Now, granted, a lot of it is also greed. You got a lot of people just over-consuming, but there's tons of human beings on this planet. So sooner or later, if you're talking about people harming the planet through technology, you're going to have to start talking about population control and limiting numbers. Is that an argument you want to make? If so, I wish you luck. You got to think this through.